Hi there, are you somebody who struggles with putting on your socks? Maybe you're somebody who can't quite reach the floor, or perhaps you're somebody who just is really uncomfortable. You feel like your neck, your shoulders hurt, maybe even your lower back or your hips. Well, if so, friend, then this video is for you. Hi there, my name is Morgan Vrysden, and I'm the creator of Center Studio, where I teach people skills to feel more comfortable more often, which includes socks, friends. Yes, socks. I'm going to talk about how to put on socks because a student asked me about it. Now, if you are new to my channel, friend, welcome. I'm really glad to have you here. I hope if you enjoyed today's video, you'll do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. There's also a notification bell that'll let you know every week when I upload my next video. And of course, you can feel free to check out some of my other videos as well. Now, in today's video, I wanted to talk with you about how you can put your socks on comfortably. This is something that I was recently asked by a student in New York, and it's something I have heard from students before. And I think unless we have an injury or an accident that prevents us from being able to do something we are used to doing, we often don't think about it, right? It's not until we're unable to do the thing that we say, this seems rather difficult. Is there an easier way? And I wanted to share with you what I suggest to my students. And also, if you're somebody who really just cannot even reach the floor, you can't for whatever reason, maybe you've got arthritis or you are incapable of bending down to get to the toes to put on your socks, I have a special tip at the end that I'm going to share with you about how you can put those socks on without any special contraption. Yes. Did you know there's a contraption to help you put on your socks if you can't get to your toes? Yep, you can buy that, friend. Of course, you can buy anything these days. But if you don't want to spend the money, or if you don't have the contraption on you because you've packed in a hurry and you don't have it with you, I still have something that can hopefully help you. So be sure to watch until the end. Okay, so socks. First of all, I love to go barefoot. But if I would have to put on a sock, I would talk to a student about what kinds of things they're doing to put the socks on. Meaning, are you scrunching up? You see a lot of this where everyone's kind of compressing their shoulders, pulling their head into their body, pulling their knee and their hip and their ankle and their foot, and they're straining to get their sock on. Sometimes they even hold their breath like, I gotta get it on. Oh, okay, great, right? Now, that's great, but it could also be aggravating any neck or shoulder tension that you might be having. So if you tend to bring your shoulders up, scrunching in at your torso here, at your neck, this kind of repetitive motion every single day to get your socks on, or even your shoes for that matter, might really hurt you more than help you. So the first way that I like to suggest is that you'll cross your leg. If you are somebody who can, in fact, cross your leg over, we'll just start with that one because that's a really easy one because it's already so close to you. Instead of using both of your hands, you can try just using one hand. Okay, so you put your sock on and you just put it sort of like a little sack puppet, and you put your hand over your toes and then you just pull up the sock. So that's really good for somebody who has neck and shoulder issues because you don't really have to do anything. The more that you're bringing both of your arms together and down, people have a tendency for a lot of excess compression and tightness. So if you can just use one simple hand to take your sock off or even on, that's going to be helpful. So I'll just show you one more time. You put your hand into the sock, sort of like a sock puppet, and then you just put it over your toes and you make room for your toes so that then you can pull up the back. So that's a really easy way just to avoid the compression that happens when people are tightening their shoulders and their neck down. Now, let's say that you're somebody who, okay, you can't cross your leg like this. All right, instead of trying to go all the way down to your foot, find something to put your foot up on. So that could be a step, that could be a bench. Now, let's say that this is still too far away because I'm still compressing. I could grab something that's a little bit higher. So say the side of a coffee table or an ottoman or a bench at the end of your bed. And then you can use your hand to, again, bring your sock over your feet. Now, again, I am a fan of like one hand if possible. Otherwise, two thumbs make it really quick and you just pull it in and then you can do the rest with the one hand so that you're not spending a lot of time in that compressed state where your whole body is into a little ball to get the one sock on. And that's a really simple way to do it as well. Now, let's say, here's another fancy way. Let's say that I'm gonna really use this higher surface in order to put my sock on. So I put my sock onto my hands like so, and then I put it onto my foot. Okay, so I get it on there, but then I'm like, okay, I really just want to make it so easy. You can flip your foot around and you can pull from the back to finish putting it up. So I'm also a fan of putting socks on like this. If you're somebody who can either kick it back or you can bring up the foot, you can always try exploring moving the foot that way. So that's another easy way. In fact, I really like that because again, path of least resistance. I always think to myself, how little can I do in order to accomplish whatever task with the least amount of excess tension, compression, tightness in my body. And doing something like this where you're really straining to get the sock on, even if it's an ooh, like that's too much. It's just a lot here and you don't need to do that. So you can think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna maybe even let my leg out and then I'm just gonna use one hand to bend over at my hips to bring my sock onto my foot. Now, let's say that you're somebody who has hip problems or even lower back problems. Something that I'm often recommending is that you think about the relationship of your spine to your foot. And what I mean by that is that let's say I'm using a surface like this. Again, if I'm coming over, I don't want to come down and into it. I think about the fact that I hinge at my hips and I actually, friend, I think about my tailbone and my sits bones going away. So what that means is that instead of everything from my whole spine is going up and over, diving into my foot, I think, no, my spine is long, my tailbone is behind me, and my sit bones are here to allow those hip joints to release so that then I could put on my sock. So that I'm not tightening, but I'm lengthening and releasing away. So we would talk about the length of the spine. And again, that hinge is going to be at your hips to come over, not at your imaginary waist, right? That's something I feel like, people create in fashion is the waist. But where we actually move from is the hips, which is closer to your pelvic floor. It's a little bit further down, and that's where you hinge over from. Then you can think about widening through the back so that you're not tightening the back, but you're lengthening and widening in order to put your sock back on your foot, right? So that here you're hinging, but you're not coming into it. You're thinking about keeping that spine long as you bring your sock to your foot. Okay, now let's say for whatever reason you're somebody who can't reach your toes and you need to put your socks on, right? You maybe have arthritis or maybe you've gotten an injury or you're just no longer capable of reaching your toes to put your socks on. This is a handy trick I actually learned on YouTube some years back, and it's really helpful. There are contraptions you can get online that have these sort of straps and can help you, but let's say you don't have that, you don't want to spend money on it or what have you, this is a great alternative. So I took my kids' High Five Highlights magazine because it's really small, and I didn't like the very thick ones. When I tried my husband's magazines, they were too thick. So I also opted for opening the magazine up. So instead of having the slippery, glossy outside, it has like more of a matte finish on the inside. And I found that worked the best for me, but you can play around with it. Now, I've got small stockies because I got small feet. So I kind of also stretch them out before I do this. So just to make sure that there's enough room for the magazine to fit in. You're going to roll the magazine up and you're going to put it right inside your sock. So you're making like a little, I don't know, this is like a sock monkey, but it's not a sock monkey. And then I like to pull it all the way and open it like so you can see where your foot is going to go into the magazine, okay? So once it's all the way up like this, you're going to then drop it on the floor. When you toss it on the ground, you put your other foot inside. So you just kind of inch it all the way in, and I sometimes hold it with my other foot so that I'm holding it at the back side, just holding the magazine down. And when you feel your toes are already at the very end, and then you just pull on the magazine, and then it comes out. Pretty nifty, huh? So you, again, don't even have to go down to your toes. If you're somebody who has difficulty getting all the way down to the toes, you can find this as an alternative that's hopefully really helpful for you. And again, you might have to kind of reach to pull up, but sometimes people can reach here. It's just that they can't get all the way to their toes. So I wanted to provide this with you as an alternative. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's video, friend. And of course, as always, if you did, it would really mean a lot to me if you hit that like button. Also, be sure to comment below. What was an aha moment for you? And I hope if you haven't subscribed already, you'll be sure to do that. All right, until next time, friend, take care. Ciao.